Many men don't struggle because they don't have emotions. Rather, they struggle because they have spent years learning how to slow or not show these emotions. In many professional spaces, this is often what gets rewarded. The man who never complains, the man who is always performing, and the man who is always keeping it together. But what happens when keeping it together becomes exhausting? What happens when success comes at the cost of your emotional being? So today, I want to talk to you about one of the most common and overlooked challenges affecting men's mental health: emotional suppression in professional spaces. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Ikus Ono. Some time ago, I promised I was going to take time and talk about men's mental health. So this is me keeping to my promise. June is Men's Mental Health Month. And this month is for awareness for our men. So ladies, don't go anywhere. This will help you understand your spouse, your father, your brother, and all the men in your life better. I help high-performing individuals develop mental clarity, improve themselves intentionally, and build sustainable ways to grow without feeling burnt out themselves. And as we recognize Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to start with a conversation that many men quietly live with every day. Because some of the most emotional and overwhelmed men don't look overwhelmed at all. They look successful. They look dependable. They look composed. And that's exactly why their struggles are often gone unnoticed. Let's start with something many men learned early in life. Point number one, the lesson the boys were taught when they were little. Many boys grew up hearing messages like, be strong, stop crying, handle it, please man up. Now, these messages were not meant or intended to cause any harm. But over time, many boys learned something very dangerous. And that is the emotions should be controlled by hiding them. That vulnerability is weakness. That asking for help means you are failing. So fast forward to 20 years later, that little boy becomes a professional man, a manager, a leader, a husband, and a father. But the emotional training never changes. So instead of expressing emotions, he suppresses them. And professional environment often reinforces this. Brings us to point number two. Why does workplace reward emotional suppression? Think about it this way. What gets praised at your work? The employees who pushes through, right? The leader who never breaks, correct? The professional who performs under pressure. Again, these qualities are very valuable, but many men interpret them as, I must never show weakness. So when stress comes, they show up and they hide the stress. When anxiety shows up, they hide it. When life becomes overwhelming, they hide it as well. Because somewhere deep inside, they are still operating from that belief that professionalism means emotional silence. But emotions don't disappear just because you hide them. This takes us to point number three. Where are those emotions? Where do they go? This is what many people do not realize. Suppressed emotions don't leave, they simply change form. Stress becomes irritability. Fear becomes anger. Exhaustion becomes emotional distance. Sadness becomes withdrawal. And because many men were never taught how to process their emotions openly, this emotion often comes out sideways Not because they're bad men, not because they're emotionally unavailable, but because they were never thought any other way. And eventually, the cost starts showing up. Point number 4. That hidden cost of always being the strong one. We've talked about this before. The cost isn't always obvious. Sometimes it looks like difficulty sleeping, mental exhaustion, feeling disconnected from people you love, loss of motivation, constant irritability, feeling alone even when people are surrounded by you. And here's what makes it difficult. Many professional men continue performing while experiencing all of this. So everyone assumes that they are okay. The company, the organization, they see productivity. The family sees responsibility. And the world sees success. But no one sees the emotional weight being carried underneath. And this is where mental health for men deserves more attention. Point number 5. Emotional awareness is not weakness. One of the biggest misconceptions men faces is this: that emotional awareness makes you less strong. But it doesn't. In fact, emotional awareness is strength. It takes courage to acknowledge what you're feeling. It takes maturity to ask for support. It takes confidence to admit when something is very difficult. Ignoring your emotions doesn't make them disappear. Understanding them helps you manage it better. So what does healthier strength actually looks like? This is where we talk about the 6th point, a new definition of strength. Maybe strength isn't carrying everything alone. Maybe strength isn't recognizing when the load has become too heavy. Maybe strength is having honest conversations. Maybe strength is checking in with yourself before burnout forces you to. And maybe strength is understanding that being a man doesn't require emotional silence. As we recognize Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to leave you with this. You can be successful and still need support. You can be strong and still have emotions. You can be dependable and still struggle sometimes. And you do not have to carry everything alone. Because real strength is not emotional suppression. Real strength is self-awareness. If this conversation resonated with you, subscribe for more discussions about mental clarity, emotional well-being, and sustainable high performance. And share this video with a man who may need to hear this message today. Happy Men's Mental Health Awareness.